Hello and welcome to Madino Castle of my Farm 4 0% growth low turn count playthrough. You'll all be happy to know that this is the last pure cavalry blitz castle of the first generation, and all remaining castle's infantry will have a much larger role to play than they had before. And this is mostly because Quan and Ethlin, two of my most important cavalry, are leaving, and Sigurd just after this chapter really isn't strong anymore. His stats are too low, he can't double things, he's squishy. Although, to be fair, the fact that he stayed so powerful for 2/3 of his generation without gaining any stats really speaks volume to how ridiculous a unit he is. Which is not sure why he was designed that way. But for all you Sigurd fans out here, this is the last chapter where you'll see him actually do a lot. After this point, he's pretty much, this is a swan song. After this, he's just a leadership bot who occasionally contributes and has to step on castles. So here you're seeing that I wounded earlier a bunch of units in the arena. This is just so that Lachesis can heal them because she needs more experience. I don't think it's technically necessary that this happens, but I'm taking whatever I can get just in case for some reason things don't pan out later on. It also gives me more flexibility in terms of using her later on in the chapter. She won't need to spend as much time getting heals in, so overall it doesn't harm anything because all these units are worthless. In fact, I'm sacrificing Nosh later on in the chapter because that was the general consensus, so might as well get what I can out of them. There isn't much to say about this chapter except I'm already splitting my army up in preparation for later parts of the castle. Because this castle is a lot less linear than the earlier ones, with far more branching outs and enemies attacking from so many directions, it's far easy to use infantry effectively. So you see a lot of cavalry charging Madino Castle, but you also see a contingent of infantry, including Lachesis, Levin, Ideen, and Azel, heading to the left. This is because the Cross Knights are about to spawn, and they have 1-2 range, so Levin is my unit of choice to obliterate them. I also need Lachesis to talk to Elshan, their powerful leader, who will run away if Lachesis talks to him. So on 0% growth, I really can't deal with him. He has a holy weapon, so I need her there. Ideen also is going in that direction too, because she'll later need to warp Sigurd. Unfortunately, Lachesis isn't promoted yet, otherwise I could just have Master Knight Lachesis do that. And I also need Azel to follow Ideen so that they're paired later on, so it's a bit of a strange crew that you wouldn't expect to be able to do much, but Levin alone can bring the Cross Knights to their knees. And later on, Sigurd and Quan will join up to take Sylvale. So here I'm just taking advantage of Sylvia to move them forward quicker. Since I'm seizing Madino so quickly, they need a bit of help to reach their positions on time. So Sylvia's doing what dancers do best: dance. On the other front, I'm actually skipping most of the enemies. I don't have to fight most of them for quite a few reasons. First of all, I punch through the guards near Madino in 1 turn. Secondly, the AI in this map the enemy is divided into a lot of small squads that all have individual formation AIs, and for some reason, some of the formations, such as the Lance Knights that I'm not even going to fight, and the Bow Knights near Madino, don't even move until a certain point. You'd think this would mean they just sit in their place unless someone gets close, but no, they actually won't even attack even if someone is within range, which makes this strategy where I'm shoving Sigurd forward so quickly a lot more reliable, because once again he's getting weak. His dodge rates against these axe users, they're not shabby, but he has a good chance of getting hit. So if all those Bow Knights were in as well, he might be in trouble, but they aren't doing anything at all. Next turn they move, but by that point I've already killed all the Axe Knights, so there's not too much to be afraid of. So due to how spread out the enemies are, I actually probably kill less than half of them before seizing Madino, but experience isn't really relevant at this point in the game, besides for Lachesis and Levin, and they both have other ways, so I'm happy to skip all of them. I was planning on having Lachesis heal Azel, but there was no opportunity, and I didn't want to screw up level points by having her end the turn next in, because the way I planned it out, Ideen and Azel literally need to be together every turn possible. I think I could alter my Chapter 1 strategy to make it so that they have one last turn needed together, but I don't think I can cut any turns anywhere anyways, so it's not that big a deal. But yeah, they need to stay glued together, even in positions where it reduces the reliability of the strategy. They just can't be done apart. And here, I'm just putting them all into position for later on when they're going to punch through that Armored Knight Brigade. So I'm not fighting them, I'm staying right out of their range and punching through them in one turn. And this is actually the only reason I bothered to recruit Beowulf, the only time he comes in handy in this playthrough. Because, so the bishop standing there, a Silver Lance can take him out. But I need someone to take down the sword armor in front, and I don't think even a mob of weaker, well, a mob probably could with charge, but then but if I brought my chump cavalry up, because they're terrible at this point in the game, a lot of them would probably die, and too many would probably die, especially Madino, because the AI loves to attack him, so he wouldn't be able to proc a charge on the Sword Knight at the front of the castle. So instead I use Beowulf. He's the only cavalry besides Sigurd at this point who has the requisite strength to one round axe knights with, well, just armor knights in general with an armor cutter, which means that he can cut through and save a turn here. So only reason I recruited him, that's the last you're going to see of him. He's useless at this point. So now it's just a simple matter of cutting through Dino and seizing on the 4th turn. Since I need to stall a bit, this is the fastest possible I can clear this level. I can't charge head on or I'd simply die, so Beowulf kills this knight. I burn a few random numbers to make a charge possible. I'm actually happy with the strategy. It's actually very reliable, or at least compared to everything in Chapter 2. Like, I don't have to do a huge amount of rigging. I just needed to proc a continue here, and one critical on the boss. This is one of the reasons I bought the Hero Lance for Sigurd, so that I can get 2 attacks on Jacobin, the boss, because he can't double him even with a speed ring. And yeah, Ethelyn sets up for sibling crit and returns Qualm so that he can help out at Silvel. And that is Madino Castle completed in 4 turns. There will be a tiny bit more rigging, but I'm sure you can already anticipate how things will go. And after this, Silvel Castle, which is a lot more interesting than this castle because of my strategy and positioning, and here Sigurd charges in and gets the kill. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.